Thomas Bennett knelt in the rich earth of his family farm, his weathered hands gentle as he tended the young tomato plants. At 29, he'd spent his entire life on this land, working soil his grandfather had worked, following rhythms older than memory. The summer sun warmed his back through his brown work shirt, and the smell of growing things filled the air with promise. He heard her before he saw her, the sound of expensive heels crunching awkwardly on the gravel path between his vegetable beds. Thomas looked up to see a young woman in a dark blue dress, completely out of place among his crops. She was maybe 26, beautiful in that polished city way, with long brown hair and a designer bag slung over her shoulder. But her mascara was running, and her hands were shaking. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice breaking. "I'm so sorry to bother you, but my car broke down on the highway, and my phone is dead. I don't know what to do." Thomas stood slowly, brushing dirt from his denim overalls. He'd been raised to help folks in trouble, no questions asked. That's what his grandmother had taught him, what these hills had taught him. "You're not bothering me, miss," he said gently. "Let's get you sorted out." She burst into tears right there among his tomato plants. Not delicate crying, but deep, shaking sobs that seemed to come from somewhere far beyond a broken-down car. Thomas hesitated, then pulled a clean handkerchief from his pocket and offered it to her. "I'm sorry," she gasped. "I'm so sorry. It's not just a car. Today I lost my job. My apartment lease ends tomorrow, and I was driving to my parents' house to tell them I failed at everything. Then my car died, and I just walked until I found someone." Thomas guided her to a bench under his apple tree, the same bench where his grandmother used to sit and shell peas. He went inside and brought out cold lemonade and fresh bread with butter. She drank like someone who'd forgotten to take care of herself for days. "I'm Thomas," he said quietly, "and you're on Bennett Farm, about 40 miles outside the city. We'll get you taken care of." "I'm Victoria," she whispered, "and I don't deserve your kindness. I've been so horrible about places like this. I always thought people who chose country life were just afraid of real ambition." Thomas smiled, not offended. "My grandmother used to say that wisdom comes from knowing what you don't know. Sounds like you're learning that now." He called his friend Jake, who ran the garage in town. The car would take 3 days to fix, needed apart from the city. Victoria's face crumpled. She had $40 in her wallet and nowhere to stay. "The guest room's made up," Thomas said simply. "You can stay here while the car gets fixed. In exchange, maybe you could help me harvest. I'm behind on my orders, and these vegetables won't pick themselves." Victoria stared at him like he'd spoken a foreign language. "You'd let a complete stranger stay in your house?" "My grandmother always kept a room ready for folks passing through. She said you never know when you're entertaining angels. Besides, I could use the help, and you need a place to land. Seems like good sense to me." That first evening, Victoria sat at Thomas's simple kitchen table, eating vegetable soup he'd made from scratch. She kept looking around the worn but spotless kitchen, the old photographs on the walls, the quilts his grandmother had made. "This feels like stepping back in time," she said softly, "but in a good way, like everything that matters has always been right here." The next morning, Thomas woke Victoria before dawn. She emerged in the only casual clothes she had, her city dress swapped for jeans and a T-shirt. He handed her gloves and led her to the strawberry patch. "Picking strawberries?" Victoria said doubtfully. "I have a master's degree in business." "Then you're overqualified," Thomas said with a grin. "But the berries don't care about degrees. They just need gentle hands and patience." As the sun rose over the fields, something remarkable happened. Victoria, who'd spent years in glass office towers, knelt in the earth and picked strawberries. Her hands learned the gentle twist that releases fruit without bruising. She felt the morning dew soak through her jeans. She heard birds she'd never noticed before. "It's quiet," she said after a while. "But not empty quiet. It's full of sounds I never knew existed." Thomas worked beside her, his movements practiced and sure. That's what city folks miss. They think quiet means nothing's happening. But listen close. There's a whole world talking. Over the next 3 days, something shifted in Victoria. She learned to collect eggs from chickens, laughing when they pecked at her shoes. She helped Thomas make jam from the strawberries they'd picked, her business mind marveling at his simple bookkeeping that somehow kept the small farm profitable. She sat on the porch in the evenings, watching fireflies and listening to Thomas talk about his grandmother's wisdom. "She raised me after my parents died," Thomas shared one evening. "Taught me that wealth isn't about what you have. It's about what you can give. This farm feeds 40 families through the farmer's market every week. That feels like success to me." Victoria was quiet for a long moment. "I was making 6 figures in the city, but I was miserable every single day. I kept thinking the next promotion, the next achievement would make me happy. I never stopped to ask what I was actually building." "What were you building?" Thomas asked gently. "Nothing," Victoria whispered. "Just numbers in a bank account and stress in my heart." On the 3rd day, Jake called. The car was fixed. Victoria should have been relieved, but instead she felt a strange panic. She found Thomas in the garden, checking his pepper plants. "The car's ready," she said. Thomas nodded, his face unreadable. "That's good news." "Thomas," Victoria said slowly, "would you think I'm crazy if I said I don't want to go back?" He straightened, meeting her eyes. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've learned more about life in 3 days here than in 4 years of college and 3 years climbing corporate ladders. I mean, I wake up happy here. I mean, I think maybe I've been looking for success in all the wrong places." Thomas's weathered face broke into a slow smile. "My grandmother always said the land calls to certain souls. Maybe you're one of them." Victoria laughed, surprising herself. "I don't know anything about farming." "You didn't 3 days ago," Thomas pointed out, "but you learned to pick strawberries without bruising them, collect eggs without getting pecked, and make jam that didn't burn. You can learn the rest." Over the following months, Victoria transformed Thomas's small farm in ways neither expected. She brought her business skills to a simple operation, creating an online presence that brought customers from 3 counties. She designed a subscription box program for weekly vegetable deliveries. She negotiated better prices with restaurants that wanted farm-to-table produce. But she also transformed herself. Her hands developed calluses. Her skin took on a healthy glow from outdoor work. She learned the names of plants, the cycles of seasons, the patience required to coax life from soil. She discovered that her ambition hadn't been wrong, just misdirected. She'd been climbing ladders that led nowhere, when she could have been growing gardens that fed people. Thomas watched her bloom like one of his heirloom tomatoes, and somewhere along the way, he fell in love